All right, everybody. Madam Roy back once again. Day 7 of this week-long live stream experiment. And I would say this has definitely been a success. See, we have quite a few people here already. I'm assuming Max O'Neill, Chris Bartlett, Justin Williams, George Blakely. Awesome. Very nice to see everybody. Um, you may hear some burps every once in a while. I just finished a very good meal with some good friends, and that's why I almost thought I was going to be a little bit late today with this live stream. And they're all downstairs. You'll probably hear them in the background. One or two might pop in. I'm not sure yet. We'll just have to see what happens. Awesome. Super chat from Max O'Neill. Let me open that up. It's going to take a minute. Yes, I am updating that every time I get a super chat. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Do I have anything on my face? I did have some dessert today. I knew this was going to be a bad day because we have friends over. You know, you always wind up eating a lot more that way. Very cool. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, please. Yeah, don't. You guys probably won't hear. I'll do like these little burps the whole time through because it was that good. Mom did a pork roast in the crock pot, roasted red potatoes. We had mashed carrots and turnips, and then for dessert, she made this egg clair cake, which is basically graham crackers, vanilla pudding, chocolate frosting, and it's kind of layered. So you got the graham crackers, the vanilla pudding, the graham crackers, vanilla pudding, and on top you got the chocolate frosting. Oh, it is so good. Let me open this up real quick. So, oh, all right. So that has been updated as of right now. Awesome. We're getting closer. I have a hunch I'm going to be forced to ride a roller coaster this coming year. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. Flips May says, "Do you like Polish sausage and pierogies?" I've had Polish sausage, and yes, I do like it very much. I have never actually had a pierogi. Believe it or not, we have some in the freezer that are made in. They're actually made in Pennsylvania, and they sell them at our local Dollar Tree. They get them sourced in. So I haven't had a chance to eat them yet. I mean, I'm going to give them a try. I heard they're really, really good. That's interesting. Polish sausage and pierogi. Tell you what, I'll try it on my next cheat day. How about that? I'm gonna wait a little bit though because, like I said, today we ate quite a bit. Though I did get my steps in for the most part. Now I got a few more to do when this is over, but I've got okay, basically 20,000. I'm about 11 steps shy of 20,000. Hang on a second. I'll remedy that right now. if I'm a little shy, I do that, and you know what? It still counts, right? I think it does. Oh, let's see. Morning. Better check your clock, Eric. I wonder if he's been working all night. Max O'Neill's like this. I gotta brush my teeth afterwards. The pork's good, but it always gets stuck in your teeth. No one else is commenting. I only got 16 watchers. Okay, so I was watching this video from MASH, things you should absolutely never order at Subway. And don't you want to know the two subs that I like are in that list of things you should never order. One is the meatball marinara because it's one of the most fattening when you got consider the beef and all the marinara sauce, and of course you always get cheese with that. So that one I think they said is like 1,000 some odd calories, And then the other one is the tuna sub, which is one of my absolute favorites from Subway. I love it. And the reason not to get that is because they actually put way too much mayonnaise. And I do kind of agree with that. When you get a tuna fish sub from Subway, take a look at it. It is saturated in mayonnaise. And plus, if you add cheese like I do, it's even worse. So I'm going to have to rethink my strategy the next time I go to Subway. Maybe what I'll do is instead of ordering a foot long tuna sub or a foot long meatball subs, I'll order 6-inch subs from now on. Either that or make a foot long my one big meal for the day. We'll just have to see what happens there. Max Neal says meatballs have like 2% meat in by any chance. I'm not surprised from there. Now, real meatballs, like homemade meatballs, have very little filler at all. As a matter of fact, my mother makes some of the best homemade Italian meatballs I've ever had. Now, I'm a little biased because I'm her son, but in those, I would say it's probably more like an 80-20 ratio, 80% meat, 20% filler, and then that filler usually being something like um, breadcrumbs, just like gobbled up bread or mashed up bread in general. I know one thing she does for it is she'll take like the Wonder White bread, we'll stick it in water, and it'll kind of turn into a paste and throws the whole thing in there, and that actually helps the filler mix in nicely so you don't get like little globs of bread in each bite. Max O'Neill says, you eat the turkey, cheese, and barbecue sauce. That's an interesting mix. I don't know if I'd like it with the barbecue sauce. I like turkey and cheese. Matter of fact, that's what I had for lunch today. Adrian Buckman, Italian BMT is the bomb. I'm assuming you meant to say. But yeah, I'm not a bacon fan. I do like mayonnaise and I like tomatoes, but I've never been much of a bacon fan. I'll eat bacon if it's in like soups. Like I go to IHOP and I used to get the potato and bacon soup. I think it's called loaded potato soup, but it does have bacon in it. But it's like little tiny crumpled up pieces. It gets a little taste of bacon in there. I think mainly is I just don't like the consistency of it. I'm weird with my foods. I like my foods to be very, very soft. I'm not really into crunchy things at all. Max Neal says IKEA meatballs and the sauce is just amazing. They're Swedish meatballs. I've never actually had them. I've been to an IKEA twice in my life, and that was the one up in Northern Virginia, near Potomac Mills. Actually, I think it's actually part of the mall area itself. And being that I am Scandinavian myself, of Scandinavian descent, Norwegian, not Swedish in my case. I love those kind of meatballs. They're actually made with nutmeg, and it's kind of like it's a white kind of flour gravy. It's very reminiscent of what you would get like at Cracker Barrel with their biscuits and gravy. Very similar to that. Flips May says he only eats rye bread. He can't stand American spongy bread. I'm not a big fan of it either. We eat a lot of rye bread. We also get these hard rolls up from upstate New York, and they're Kaiser rolls, but they're hard on the outside and soft on the inside. And I've eaten those ever since I was a little kid, and I love them. But even with those, you have to be very careful because those rolls have about 240 calories. So you got to remember, you got to add on what you're eating with those rolls to the actual calories that are in the rolls themselves. $3 special days for 12 meatballs and chips. I can't imagine that's at Subway. You're lucky to get, I kid you not, the meatball sub, when it's on sale, you get them for $5 if it's on sale that month, the $5 foot long. And you're lucky if they put 4 meatballs on there. It's pathetic nowadays. And if you ask for double meat, you got to pay like $2, which I won't do. I'm sorry, I'm too cheap. I won't. I will not do that. Maximo says he likes the smell of Subway. I like the smell of Subway too. Just some of the taste of some of their subs leave me cold. No, seriously, all kidding aside, Subway does have some really good subs, but you really got to be careful. I would never recommend getting any of their hot meat subs, their hot chicken, their hot like Philly cheesesteak, because I've seen how that comes out. The steak actually comes to them pre-cooked, and they actually heat it up in the microwave to put on your sub. And that's just disgusting to me. I if I want something like a Philly cheesesteak sub, I go to an actual restaurant that'll make me a fresh Philly cheesesteak. They'll take the fresh ribeye or the fresh sirloin, sliced thin. They'll put it on the grill. They'll mix the peppers and onions with it, season it up, and put it right on the bun for me, preferably with either provolone cheese or good old cheese whiz if I'm up near the Pennsylvania, Philly area. Robert Jones, Matt, have you ever tried ranch wing at Walmart? They are great. No, I've never had any of Walmart's wings. A long time ago, I used to eat their General Tso's chicken, their equivalent. It's more like a barbecue chicken, but they it was funny. They originally called it General Tso's, and because it really wasn't that, they changed it to just like a honey barbecue chicken. That was actually pretty good. Oh yeah, Eric. Yeah, I remember you telling me about your butcher shops up there. We have nothing like that here. There was a butcher shop for a very short time up in Green, where my uncle lives, but they closed up. Unfortunately, what actually killed them was up in that area. The meat is very, very fresh, and the local Great American grocery store sources their meat locally from farmers. So there really was no need to go to the barbershop and pay those extra fees. You could just when you just go to the grocery store and get the same quality of meat. It was very sad though because I met the gentleman that owned the store, and he was very passionate about what he did. And when he first opened, he said, "Yeah, this is going to be great. I know people are going to come here. We're going to have these prime cuts of meat. They even got someone in for a short time to make like all these desserts, but it just never really took off." Maxwell says, even though ASDA is owned by Walmart over in the UK, stuff is very different. Yeah, I can imagine. The tastes over there are extremely different. I know that a good friend of my aunt's is from the UK, suburbs of London, and he lived in London for a while. And he was saying the main difference is in England, it's very much like meat and potatoes, but it's not overly seasoned. For our taste, it would be kind of bland. Here in the States, because America's a melting pot of all different cultures, you can pretty much get any kind of food you want. And generally, we gravitate more towards the continental food, like the stuff from Spain, Italy, German food, stuff like that. But I'll tell you one thing: one of my favorite, good old English foods is good old fish and chips. And yes, before you guys ask, it has to be made with cod for me. Only way I'll eat it. Max O'Neill says England has the best chocolate, hands down. I'll take your word for it. I don't think I've ever eaten English chocolate. I've had Polish chocolate. I've had chocolate from Bruges, Belgian chocolate, and I've had German chocolate, but I've never had chocolate from England. Interesting. I didn't even know there were subways in New Zealand. I guess it stands to reason because even in places like Kuwait in the Middle East, ever since we liberated them during the Gulf War, they have like all of our fast foods there. It's amazing. I was watching a documentary and it's really sad because we're actually making Kuwaitis obese because they have all of our American fast food and it's cheaper for them to go out at night and eat fast food versus staying home and cooking. And I know the most popular ones there are um, Domino's, Burger King, and Johnny Rockets. A lot of you guys probably never even heard of Johnny Rockets, but it's kind of like an American diner, but it is fast food. It's not quite as good as something like Five Guys. I ate there once. It was okay. Wasn't. It was just kind of iffy. We're having an argument about who has the best chocolate. That's classic. I'm sure that you can all make a case for your countries, your respective countries, and why you think your chocolate's the best. I can tell you right now, American chocolate is by far and away my favorite, but I'm talking specifically Hershey chocolate. Again, I've had chocolate from other countries. Poland had some really good chocolate. As a matter of fact, our local Aldi and Lidl, the chocolate they import is from Poland, and it is really, really good. I mean, it is like milk, the milkiest chocolate you'll ever have. And I like my milk chocolate. Sometimes I'll do dark chocolate, but if I'm treating myself, it's going to be milk chocolate, not waxy at all. And that's a deal breaker for me. If you get that chocolate, and you'll know if it's real chocolate or not, because if you break it off and you put it to your mouth and don't even bite it, just kind of rub it against your tongue and the top of your mouth. And if you don't get a taste of chocolate right away, you have to do that a few times, and it's kind of waxy. It's fake. It's made with fillers, basically. Max O'Neill said he likes Aldi's chocolate. Yeah, well, at least in our area, Aldi's chocolate I know comes from Poland. It could be different in different countries, but yeah, it's really good. Phillips May says all the American companies bought the Polish chocolate company, so it isn't real Polish chocolate anymore. Interesting. I didn't know that. Um, I know that Hershey has always been all American. The reason I like Hershey chocolate, if you some of you guys, I don't know if everybody's ever had it before, but Hershey's chocolate has a little bit of bitterness because they actually make it with a little bit of buttermilk, and I actually like that. On the other hand, you have Nestle chocolate, which is a California-based company, and just never really did it for me. It's almost too sweet. Hershey chocolate, because it has that little bit of buttermilk in it, has the perfect balance between sweetness and a little bitterness, and my personal favorite. Now, Hershey is not for, they do make Hershey in Mexico, but Hershey is actually made in the States, in Pennsylvania. Oh, Robert Jones, Matt, do you like trail mix? I used to, but I usually don't eat it much anymore. Too many carbs. Used to get this. Okay, I don't know what it's called. We used to make this trail mix that had Chex Mix. It had raisins. It had like M&Ms in it, sunflower seeds, and like I want to say it was like quinoa or something, barley, I think it was, and that was actually really good. It was like a Chex Mix technically because it had Chex in it, but there was another name for it. I don't remember what we called it. Yeah, I've been to Hershey Park before. I'd like to go back again. It's been a while. It's definitely been a while. I remember they used to give out tons of the free chocolate. It was amazing. And you get to tour the factory too. You can see how the chocolate is made. Well, I remember when we went, we you had to choose what you wanted to see, and we actually went and saw where the Hershey Kisses were made because at the time we were big Hershey Kiss fans. Do you like Pringles? Yeah. Oh, I love Pringles. I haven't eaten them much recently. Not with trying to lose weight and all, but yeah, I like Pringles. My favorite used to be the sour cream and onion and the pizza Pringles. If you guys have ever heard of those, the pizza ones are really good. To me, they don't taste at all like pizza, but they're still really good. I got Adrian Buckman. I got Twizzlers when I went to Hershey, Pennsylvania. That's right. Hershey makes Twizzlers too. And again, I know a lot of people from California are probably more into the red vines. Similar thing. Appetite for Adventure. Hey Matt, great live stream. Saw yesterday's you were enjoying a LaCroix. Excellent product. I love it. I've been drinking a lot of those lately, and it really helps curb the craving for something sweet at night. They're not super sweet. They only have like a hint of orange, but it's enough to keep me away from the junk food cabinet. That's for sure. Eric Brunhammer said, "I was one of the first people to ride the Great Bear ride. I hear it's falling apart now." Yeah, that's really sad. A lot of infrastructure around this country is falling apart. I mean, heck, they have to replace one of the bridges in our area. They actually just replaced two of the older ones that were built in the 20s, and now there's one called the High Rise Bridge. I think it was built in the late 50s, early 60s, and they're replacing that now. And then the unfortunate thing about that, they're going to probably start charging tolls when they do. That's what they did with the tunnels where we are. It's only one tunnel that doesn't have a toll now, and I'll bet that's coming too. Chris Barlow says, as a kid, we used to get free sample bags from the Cadbury factory. This was in the 60s. Wow. Yeah, I've had Cadbury eggs before, especially the cream eggs. And then they had the ones that had like the caramel, and they actually put like a little, it was like a little yolk thing in it so it looked like an egg, but it was actually kind of like a caramelized sugar. Those were really good. Flips may ask, is that a Laserdisc player in the background? Yes, it is. You're talking about right there. Yeah, that's a Pioneer CLB. I think that's a 2600 series. I still have my DVL 909, but I've put that away because I'm having issues with the door mechanism. And once I get some extra time, I'm going to delve into that and see if I can figure out why it's not working properly. That one over there is an industrial one. It doesn't flip A to B automatically, side A to side B automatically. You actually have to do it manually. But that's a great player. I picked that up at our local Goodwill distribution center in the clearance section, the clearance section. And I paid like $2-3 for that. It's an area where they put a lot of stuff that supposedly doesn't work. Well, that worked just fine. I think what happened was they put it there because they didn't have a laser disc to test it with. So their loss was definitely my gain. All right. So let's talk for a minute while there's a lull in the conversation about the future of my channel, because there are going to be some changes coming up. Being this is the last day of this week-long live streaming experiment, I want to really appreciate everybody for being with me. I am gonna continue doing these in the near future because it's been a pretty big success. You guys really seem to like it. I get a lot of information out there, and you guys get your questions asked in a timely, or asked and answered, I should say, in a timely manner. I'm probably going to take a break for at least a week, and I might pick it up the week after. We'll just have to see what happens. Um, but as my life enters a new phase, me possibly moving out next year, there are definitely going to be some interesting videos coming, and I definitely want to take you guys with me. You guys are going to be really impressed, I think, with some of the things that are going to happen on this channel. And I know things are kind of slow going. A lot of that's due in part to me because, I've been so heavily focused on losing weight. And I have kind of neglected you guys, and I do apologize for that. I know I got a lot of videos that I need to get out there, and I promise they will be forthcoming as soon as I can. Probably the next actual video is finally going to be a review of that Kenwood turntable, because I've had multiple people asking me about that. And as soon as I can get a quiet time in the house, I will be doing that video. Oh man, that's sad. Eric Brunhammer says that the guy who was handling the PCs at his favorite thrift store isn't there anymore, and they're not handling PCs. So I assume they're probably not taking them in, or if they do take them in, they're probably just throwing them out, which is very sad. A lot of thrift stores are doing that now. It's nothing uncommon. Flips May asks, do you have any advice on starting a successful tech channel? Huh. Well, you got to be able to do kind of reviews that people want to see. I would stay away from unboxing videos. I mean, some people like them, but to me, they just are really boring. Best thing to do is get a product, use it for a few days, and then do a review on it, because at that point you know everything that it can do, all of its quirks, all of its pluses and minuses. That's the way I would start. And then you can always solicit the companies to get them to send you products. It's not easy to do. I've tried it, and I've only had a couple companies send me some little things to review. But YouTube is a very hard way to actually make a living unless you find that niche market, you find that one thing people want to see and that YouTube wants to promote. You're never going to make it into your livelihood, so you always have to have something else to fall back on. I do this for fun. This does make me some money, but that's not why I do it. I do it because I enjoy interacting with you guys. I like making videos. That's just me. I'm a people person. Maximilian will say you should do a review in your trailer. My friend did that. You know, that's not a bad idea. We've actually winterized the trailer, so we're not going to be taking it out again this year. But when it finally cools down here, you know, gets into the 40s, 50s, and 60s, then I'll be comfortable going out there in the trailer without actually having the air conditioning on. That's an idea. Remind me of that again. I'm definitely interested in trying to do that. This is driving me crazy. I have something caught in my tooth here. I'm gonna have to brush my teeth when this is over. Hate that. Probably a piece of rosemary. We had roasted red potatoes with rosemary on top, and it wasn't the really fine rosemary. It was like the thicker stalks, and I'll bet you that's what got stuck under my tooth. Yeah, Eric Brunhammer said he'd be doing it if it wasn't a pop-up. Just too hot. I mean, I'll give you guys an idea of the upcoming week. Actually, I haven't even looked, so let me get in here and see what the weather's going to be like. Oof. I'll tell you guys something. It ain't going to be happening this week. We'll start with Sunday because Saturday's basically over. So the highs for next week for us, Sunday to Friday, 83, 84, 84, 85, 84, and 80. So this is ridiculous. I mean, I don't ever remember being this hot down here in October. Generally, it's in the 60s and 70s by this point. Actually, it says normal temperatures here: 73, high of 73, a low of 58. We're not even going to be coming close. I don't think we're even getting out of the 70s most days as a low. Okay. All right, I may be opening a can of worms here. I'm going to read an article that just popped up. Senate confirms Brett Kavanaugh as Supreme Court Justice. Let's do a little something crazy for this last seventh day live stream. Let's see what everybody thinks about that. I'm going to break my normal standing rule of no politics because this is so much in the news now that I think everybody wants to get their opinions off their chest, and I'm going to entertain all opinions here. I have my own opinion about this, which I will share. But let's see what you guys think. What do you guys think about him actually getting confirmed to the Supreme Court? Do you think that it was done fairly? Do you think that the investigation, the FBI investigation, did what it needed to do and weeded out without any doubt the fact that he had done anything wrong to those three different women? Chris Bartlett says he can't follow American politics. Nick Roberts thinks Trump is cute. Okay, interesting. Maximus isn't that idiot that's been flooding my phone notifications. I got one of those the other day too. Eric Brunhammer said the only thing he did dirty things to was the Fourth Amendment. It's crazy. So from what I'm gathering, I think quite a few of you guys are were in favor of this, and I'll give you my take on it from what I've been reading and just observing. Um, as you guys may or may not know, a appointment to the Supreme Court is lifetime. In other words, unless he steps down or he gets impeached, which is very uncommon, he's going to be there for his life, which at his age could be another 30 or 40 years. He's only like 52 or 53 years old. That being said, I am glad that they went through with the FBI investigation, because even though with this Elizabeth Ford, they could not, the three people that she brought in to corroborate her story could not corroborate the story. I think it was still good that they did the investigation, because you want to weed out any doubt possible that this actually happened. And that's what the FBI does. So, with that being said, yeah, I'm actually happy that he got in. I think he deserves to get in. I don't think he did any of these things that they're accusing him of. Um, and the reason I'm saying there's just no proof out there. I mean, if one of those one of those three witnesses could corroborate the story that Elizabeth that Dr. Ford told, I'd say forget it, kick him out. He's guilty. But they couldn't even do that. So that's just my take on it. You guys may feel differently. That's fine. Open and honest conversations. That's how the world goes around. Flips May says the more conservative justices, the more citizens' lives will improve. I don't know about that. I mean, I guess it's possible, but the only way that we're going to succeed is to have a bipartisan relationship. What that means is both sides of the aisle have to cooperate. And I know I've said that. The reason being is, as a country, we are so evenly split between the left and the right that if we don't cooperate, nothing's going to get done. And let's face it, that's what's been happening for about 20 plus years now. Robert Jones says, but I have been keeping up with the Bill Cosby sentencing. I haven't really been doing that at all. I got bored with that. I got bored with that about a month ago. Maxwell said, when Obama was in power, my phone was quiet. The only reason they're doing that is they want to make sure that everybody has a way to get alerts when something really bad happens. That's all it was. It was just a test, the same as you would get on a TV station, or as I get through my NOAA weather radio over there. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, to be honest with you. Okay. Yeah. I like that. One thing, Maxine, one thing with news media, they say something again and again and again, and you guessed it, again. And half the time they get it wrong. And I'm talking about all the news outlets out there. That's why, if you want to be an informed citizen, you really need to watch everything. And I'm talking about everything. And I do. I really do. Okay, Ruben, he got up to 1.6 miles. That's awesome. Keep working up there, bud. You can do it. Tomorrow, try for 2 miles. And then, next day, maybe 2.2 miles. Baby steps, baby steps. I think we get that where Flips May is coming from. Yeah. Yeah. And yes, I do consider myself more right. Yes, absolutely. I will say that off the top of my head right now. But I am open to all opinions. I am not closed-minded at all. Robert Jones, Matt, have you been watching the singing shows? Not recently. No, I haven't watched a lot of TV. You see that TV right there? Before 9 p.m. at night, that thing stays off. And then after 9, I may watch a few episodes of Frasier or the new Lost in Space on Netflix. Then I go to bed. Dead of winter might change. Like if it gets really cold around here, forget it. Ain't no way I'm going to be exercising that much. Eric Brunhammer, Nick Roberts, Flips May, you're both right. All mainstream media news sources are horrible. Yes, yeah, you can't believe everything. Nobody can get it right all the time, but it seems like I don't want to say this the wrong way. These stations have to make a profit, and the only way to do that is to cater to one group of people, either the right, the left. If they were all moderate, they wouldn't be making any money because nobody'd be watching the channels. And that's why you got to do more than just watch TV. Do a lot of reading online, read different books. A lot of politicians write books. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You just got to be informed. So that's the only thing I got to say. Nick Roberts says, "Do you like The Big Bang Theory? Sucks it's the last season." Yes, I do like The Big Bang Theory, but honestly, I'm very glad it's the last season because it has been dropping drastically in quality over the last couple of seasons, and I think this is a good place to end it. It's just you don't want to drag a show out too long because once the writers get bored and the storylines suffer, then it just tarnishes a once great show. And yes, I love The Big Bang Theory. I think it's hilarious. You guys watch Young Sheldon, which is kind of like a prequel to that with Sheldon as a kid. That's a really funny show. Eric Brunhammer says he can't even tell me the last time his TV was turned on. Well, I hope that means you're out doing something, exercising. You know what? As a society, I think we watch way too much TV. I know we watch way too much TV as a society. I remember reading a statistic in the 90s that the average grade school kid watched 6 to 7 hours of TV a night while only allotting about 2 hours for homework. Do the math there. If you add in an 8 hour or 6 hour school day, one, two, three, four, that's only about 7 hours left for sleep. So that means that these kids are probably staying up till 11, 12 at night. And we're talking about kids in the sixth, seventh grade. So what, 9, 10, 11 year olds? Something wrong with that. And this was back in the 90s. I mean, we're talking, what, 20 years ago almost now. Appetite for Adventure wants to know, how has your Chrysler been doing, Matt? Been dealing with rocker lifter tick on my Dodge Journey for a while, trying to find the money to repair it. All right, that's a good topic. Certain Chrysler engines, mine being one of them, mine is the 4-liter V6, not the exact same one that they have in some of the Wranglers, but the one that they used for a couple of years in the town and countries does suffer from a little bit of lifter tick. I don't have the rocker, but I do have the lifter tick, or at least I did. And I did find a remedy for that. Whenever I do an oil change, I add in a bottle of Prolong, which is an oil additive. It's what they call, it's in the class of super lubricants. And what I do is I do my oil change. I put in the 5 quarts that it recommends. Actually, it's like 5.5 quarts, but I put 5 quarts in, leave the half a quart out for that because that actually is about like between half and 3/4 of a quart. It comes out to just the right amount. And what that super lubricant does, the first few times that you run the engine after putting it in, it gets shot all over the parts and it actually sticks to those parts. So in the mornings, especially in the winter, when you have what are called dry starts, when the oil is too thick to be able to get to everywhere, you generally won't get that lifter tick because you'll have the prolong that's already stuck to it. So that's what I found that really helps my engine. Also, ever since I put the prolong in, my vehicle, my van hardly burns any oil at all. That engine is known to burn about 2 quarts of oil every 3,000 miles, and mine hardly burns a quart in 3,000 miles. So that's something you really need to try. It worked wonders for my car, my van, I should say. Ruben says that he filmed his bus ride today and will edit the footage tonight. Yeah, I'd like to see that. That'd be kind of interesting. Try to do some elevator videos too. I tell you, they get some really good ratings. Not on my channel, but some people's. Eric Brunhammer says they're crying over Roe v. Wade. The abortion is what that's about. The abortion bill that allowed abortion in the United States, as if we hadn't had a conservative majority since. Never. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I don't think they'll ever overturn it at this point. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But I don't want to get onto that topic. That's not what I want to talk about here. And I do have Milo on the bed. I really don't want to bug him though because he's just so cute. There he is. If I can get a good angle here. You guys see Mr. Milo over there? Milo. He is waking up. Look at those cute little pads. He's a little nervous. He's usually a really friendly cat, but we have too many people here even for him right now. Oh, I thought I'd show you guys something here. If you guys ever wondered what I looked like as a kid, this was probably when I was in 3rd or 4th grade. This was when I was fishing sometime. Yeah, I still had a full head of hair back then, too. I don't know what the heck I was wearing. It was a cold morning, so that was one of my blue and red sweaters. But yep, that's what I looked like as a kid. Just if anybody was curious about that. I was rooting through some photos and I found those the other day. I just thought I'd give you guys a little peek at that. Chris Barlow says, saw something really cute this morning. Take my wife to work. 2 black swans with 2 babies crossing the road. I had to wait for them to cross the road. Aw. Don't ever go near them, though, because they can be ferocious at times. Chris Barlow says, I haven't changed at all. I know, I really haven't. I was a husky kid, really, to be honest with you. I mean, I was, at this point, I was probably I probably was like 120, 130 pounds here. And then I lost some weight after this. I got heavy again, lost some weight. You kind of get when I'm going with this, you kind of like yo-yo dieting. That's why now I'm trying not to gain any of this weight back. And my hair is still about the same, though. I've noticed it's receded a tiny bit. Back then, my hair would actually grow to the point where it would grow over my eyes a little bit. Chris Barlow said he was always chubby as a kid. Yeah, some of us were. A lot of us were, and then we got rid of the baby fat. Unfortunately, I never got rid of mine all the way. Flips May says everybody tells him that he looks like somebody straight out of 1970s Europe. Okay, I know that look. That's cool. Let's see, we're 44 minutes, 15 watchers, 15 likes. Hey, not too bad. Figure on a Saturday night, everybody's probably partying out with buddies, or they partied Friday night, and now they're in rest and recovery mode. That's cool. And I did not bring any water in here, so when I start losing my voice, we're just gonna have to end this live stream because I don't want to strain my voice too much, especially the fact that I don't have any water right now. All right. We're all doing great. The company's having a ball. I can tell they're having a lot of fun down there. I want to rejoin them in a little bit. Nick Roberts never parties. Oh, come on, man. You got to party sometime. I'm not talking about actual partying with alcohol. I mean, you can have a party without it. We hardly ever serve alcohol at our parties. Someone is Eric Brunhammer. Sometimes I wish my parents took more pictures of me and my brother. This is one of the reasons I am trying to take as many as I can of Luke. Yeah, I can understand that. When you have kids, sometimes it's hard. I was an only child, and that was kind of a blessing and a curse at the same time. Because a blessing because I got all the attention from my parents, and for many years I was the typical spoiled only child, and that was kind of fun. But as I get older now, I don't have a brother or a sister that I can turn to in times of trouble, and when I'm feeling down. I could talk to my parents, but there are things that you don't want to talk about with to your parents that you rather talk to a sibling. And not for lack of trying. When I was young, it was really sad because I saw all my friends. They had brothers and sisters to hang out with. I felt like I remember as a kid, I'd go and ask Mom, Dad, how come I don't have a little brother or a sister? Well, it just never happened, unfortunately. Oh, Ruben had a free breakfast at the church and he loved it. Nice. Our church does that sometimes. Sometimes for the women, sometimes for the men. They're like little morning prayer sessions or little Bible studies. Nick Roberts says he has a sister, but he doesn't like her. She's horrible. I'm telling you, try to get back with them as much as possible. Family is everything. I mean, you may have family members you don't get along with. I had family members I didn't get along with. But at the end of the day, they are still family. We got to still love them, even if at times we don't like them. Nope, I have no brothers or sisters. I am an only child. Definitely will be now. I feel for you, Flips, and I can understand where you're coming from politically as well. If you're coming from a communist country like that, I can't even imagine. I know there's a gentleman that I watch who lives in China, and he talks a little bit about the communism there and how they censor everything. Like most people can't even have normal internet because the government doesn't want them to know everything that's going on in the rest of the world. They censor it, just like in North Korea and a lot of other communist countries too. Thank you, Ruben. I appreciate your prayers. It much appreciated on both ends, and I do pray for you guys too. Fry wants to know about it. About detention. I never had Saturday detention. Only thing I ever had one time was lunch detention, and that was a bum rap. And that was when the kids were really cruel to me when I was in fifth grade. I'll tell you the story real quick. First period, the teacher was always late. He was an older guy. He was not in the greatest of health, and he was just always late. So we would all go in, put our backpacks on the table, and go back out because his one rule was, don't go in the room until he's there. Well, of course, he knew everybody went in the room because all their backpacks were there. So one day, the kids thought it'd be a cruel joke that when I went and put my backpack in there, they would shut the door and shut me in until he came. And basically, the teacher came, forced them to open the door, and gave me lunch detention because the teacher was a total jerk. There's another word I wanted to use, but jerk seems to fit as well as anything. And that's what happened. At least in my school, that's what they did. You don't punish the guilty, you punish the innocent. That school was terrible. That was in upstate New York, and I'm actually glad I'm out of there. It was a terrible situation. Eric Brunhammer says he can't tell me how many times he spent in detention, in school suspension, Saturday detention. I was always a very mellow, very calm person. That's my demeanor then. As I've gotten older, I've gotten somewhat of a short temper and a short fuse. I will tell you that that has changed because for many years I let people walk all over me, and that's never going to happen again. That being said, I still, for the most part, tend to be the very nice, congenial, easygoing person that you see here. But don't cross me. If you cross me, you will incur my wrath. I can promise you. Plus, me, in the 1970s, all my teachers would try to stick communist propaganda into us. My father taught me to always resist it. Smart man. Absolutely smart man. Chris Bartlett says, "How come you don't have the New York accent, Matt, as you grew up there?" I don't know. I never did. I've had people tell me I don't even have any type of accent. My mother still has it a little bit. My father has more of the French Canadian accent because that's where he's from. I don't know. I guess it just never stuck. You got to remember too. I moved down here when I was 14, almost 15. So I was still a kid, and it's kind of that sweet spot where if I stayed another year or two, I probably would have started talking more like a New Yorker, but it didn't get ingrained in me. And I never really got the Southern accent either. Chris Barlow says I don't have any accent that he noticed. I don't know. I guess we all talk like we talk. Nick Roberts says he used to get in fights because people would make fun of him, but he never got in trouble. That's what they wanted me to do. I mean, I actually had teachers and the lunch cafeteria aides tell me to fight back, and I wouldn't because I was a pacifist. Nowadays, I don't know what I would do. Somebody got on my nerves enough, I might throw a punch. You never know. Ha 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 ha, Chris Bartlett says. Excuse me. Clear my throat a little bit here. Let me see if I missed anything. Eric Brunhammer says, speaking of my brother, I need to remember Monday to make an appointment to see him next Saturday. That's sad when you have to make an appointment to see your family, but in our fast-paced world, that's what happens nowadays. Now I need to be searching Craigslist while I'm doing this. I got to learn to multitask a little bit better. I'm not great at multitasking. How about you guys? Anybody out there? Can anybody out there multitask? I know I really can't. Wow, I got a lot of love on these live streams. We are definitely going to continue to do these in the future. I'm pumped for it. Eric Brunhammer said the biggest trouble I got into was with someone started crap in eighth grade and I fought back, and as a result was them replacing two locker doors and he needed surgery. That's what I was always afraid of. You guys got to remember, I was always the biggest kid there. Not only the bulkiest, but also the tallest. These little wimpy kids felt inferior and they always tried to pick a fight. And I was always afraid that I was going to get upset to the point where I would really hurt someone. And I almost did. And that's another reason why I never wanted to fight with people. Computers can't multitask, Maxwell said. They just do stuff so quickly it looks like it can. I'm talking about, the human being. But yeah, I get your point. It is it isn't technically multitasking. Well, actually, it is because you got to think about it. If you think about it this way, your computer has multiple cores and it assigns different tasks to different cores. So actually, technically, it is multitasking. Really, what you doing? Did you wake up? You want me to show everybody? All right. I think I got a long enough cord here. Hey, Milo. Oh, you guys don't need to see my underwear. Say hi, Milo. Good boy. You lazy? What you gonna do? How about if I get this? That do anything for you, Milo? The laser pointer? Ooh. What do you say, guys? He's still not going to cooperate. Come on, Milo. No, too lazy, huh? What? Oh, big kitty yawn right there. Puss May asks, "What kind of cat is he?" He's a mutt. He's everything. Tabby cat, I guess you should call. We could call him. He's not purebred or anything. Nick Roberts says that a kid at his school chucked a CRT computer screen at a teacher and broke his rib. Yeah, there are some rough schools out there. What is it, buddy? Bath time? Milo. What is it? You bashful, aren't you? Yeah, okay. We'll let him be. Milo, we know, is a very bashful cat by nature. So is Baxter, really. That would have hurt a CRT. Got to be at least 15, 20 pounds there. Oh, my goodness. I think my allergies will go away once the seasons finally change. Eric Brunhammer says, "Big news. My new mic system for live streaming made it all the way from the back seat of my truck inside my mouth." I'm assuming you mean house. If it was in your mouse, I think it must be a pretty small microphone then. Yeah, let me know how that works. I'm definitely going to look into getting something better for the next set of these live streams because I definitely want to have a little bit better audio than I do right now. Plus, May said, "I used to have a very fat black cat. He lived 22 years. Very good lifespan for a cat, actually. Though cats can live that long. I've seen cats live 25, 30 years. This is amazing. I'm just looking at it. We're at 19 watchers now. This is the way it was last time, right before the live stream was going to end. I had 19 watchers. So I think what I'm going to do for the next set of these, I'll probably start it at 8 p.m. instead of 7. It seems to be working a little bit better for people. It says my mic is okay as long as I don't talk too loud. Okay, good note. Good note. I'll try. Max O'Neill says, "Look at the blue snowball mic." Let me look at that. Let me look that one up real quick. Yeah, about 30. Actually, you can get it as cheap as $18.99 on eBay. Blue microphone snowball. Actually, it's up to $28 now, and that is new. Okay. Yeah, I would definitely get something like that new. I'm going to put a bookmark in there. Maybe something for the future. Get in there. All right, tubers. I am going to end this in just a minute because I want to go back down with the company. It's kind of rude for me not to be there. I was hoping one of them might come up. I basically let them know they could if they wanted to, but I guess they just didn't feel comfortable. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. I know I am. Stay safe. Don't drink and drive. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.